Hey, I've never done just a in the car EDP type of video before, but I wanted to review Avengers Endgame, and I knew I wouldn't remember by the time I got back home. I mean, I don't remember most of it, but I want to do it like as soon as possible. I'm gonna start off with the your number scale, whatever. 10 out of 10. Perfect movie. I can't think of anything to fault in the movie. I'm doing more detail than that, but I can't think of anything that's a negative in the movie. With people with Infinity War, a lot of people said the humor felt misplaced. Because of the tension that was coming out early in that movie. Um, I guess I mean I don't know of any bad acting jobs in Infinity War, but anyway, like there's some like slight gripes people have in Infinity War, right? I don't think there were any things that I could think of that were negative in Endgame. The humor was like I could see where people had bad intentions with the humor and stuff like that. The humor is better placed here. You had like sections that were like, okay, it's time for humor. Then sections were like, okay, this is sad as hell. It was better laid out, in my opinion, even though I didn't feel like it was, bad in the other one. But so humor was good. The acting, pretty much everybody that could have did that had a plentiful part in the role did a great job acting, a fantastic job. I don't want to just name specific actors or characters because you're gonna know that they had specific like levels of importance in the movie. But the original Avengers all, of course, had a plentiful part, and they did great. I like, yeah, I guess I break my own rule. I like how they used Mark Ruffalo slash Hulk in this movie. I think they used him better than they used him in Infinity War. He had more diversity because I was thinking in Infinity War like he basically didn't need to be there aside from telling them that Thanos is coming. In this, he did way better. Um, the score, I'm just naming like the least important things first. The score, I mean, the score in a superhero movie is usually going to be similar. I mean, with a DC movie, it might be terrible because DC's terrible, but in this, I mean, the score is like secondhand to people speaking almost all the time, and almost all the good moments, except one I'm thinking of right now. Well, two. In the latter half of the movie, there's two moments that are pretty solemn, and the score is fantastic in those moments. I'm thinking more in terms of the battle, and then after a certain character, I mean, at the end of the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That it'd be three, matter of fact, because it's one with the Alpha of the Avengers, and it's another one with the guy right behind the Alpha of the Avengers, if you know what I mean. Towards the latter half of the movie, those are scored perfectly. And yeah, I mean, it was just it always matched the mood of the whatever was happening on camera. Um, so what would that leave? I guess just the movie itself, the plot. I like what they did with the plot. They did it to where I still felt trepidation even after a whole year. I guess now to be because today's the 27th, a whole year of sitting here on my hands, like how would they renege these events and make it interesting? I think around the time of like not January, June last year, I was thinking like time travel is the only way it could possibly make sense to me how they would handle this, and um not to spoil how they do it, but time travel is a big part of how they, um, you know, mend events and such. They did it in a way that was less like dynamic than I thought it'd be. Not to say that it was bad, but like, I thought that we'd have like drastically different timelines and kind of interactions because of that. The way they did it was the way it did. I feel was more practical, and that was notable to me. Um, it's hard to speak on the movie without like spoiling anything, but they also did a good job of bringing in characters from different timelines to the current timeline without without making it like the lack of knowledge from one timeline to the other of a character. That wasn't a problem. They played it off well. it worked for certain reunions, I want to say, and certain moments where we had I guess communication, just sitting down or in a battle, something like that. The communication usually was on point for people who didn't know each other, or for one side did know the other and had something, to speak on to the other side, and the other side really didn't know. So it's kind of like, I don't know how to put it, but the interaction between one unknowing character and one character that does know the other character, they work perfectly almost every time. Uh, the only thing I really want to get down, that I only the two things I wanted to get down, was that if you, and I mean, you should have thought this coming into, if you thought that this was gonna be a Captain America slash Iron Man movie, it is, but at the same time, it's not. There's enough weight spread around to where this is like an everybody movie. Like, not even just the original Iron Man or original Avengers, but an everybody movie. Everybody eats, so to speak. But of course, those two do have, priority. This is almost certainly their last movie. I know it's RDJ's. Well, it has to be RDJ's last movie. It is. I mean, there's no. I think RDJ's contract expired, something like that, and I think Chris Evans' contract expired too. Matter of fact. So I mean, it's. I'm pretty sure it's both of their last movies, and yeah, they of course they get the most priority. The second thing I wanted to cover was, it's not just Carol Danvers saves the day. I don't know how to. I don't want to break any spoilers out, but they balance Carol Danvers' appearance enough. You'll get a good meat pause in the middle of the movie where, like, Carol Danvers doesn't make a tangible impact, and it's for the best, because there's like a lot of moments we realize, well, I'm just thinking about this now, but there's a lot of moments where you sit there and think, man, if Captain Marvel was here, then this wouldn't happen or that wouldn't happen. And it kind of feels weird that, like, they neutered Thor to such a degree, because Thor essentially at the end of the last movie had a lot of the powers that Captain Marvel would have, not like space travel, but a lot of the other things, and they kind of neutered Thor to, like, being around the same level as the other two leading OG Avengers. And I mean, I kind of liked it, because I mean, if you don't, then Thor's just gonna come through and save the day again, like he did in last movie. But yeah, they really had Captain Marvel. They used enough of her, and when you realize that some people may think they should use more of her, but when you realize that she's gonna be a integral part of this movie franchise going forward, like, this isn't just her, star blazing out type of, scene film, like it is for, I would presume, all the other OG Avengers, except for maybe Ronan. They're probably on their way out, and Ronan almost certainly should be too, because I mean, this is his first appearance, and I don't know how long, like, Civil War, I think. Civil War, like, it's the last time really getting shine like that. So yeah, I mean, it's been his first time in, what was that, 4 years ago? So yeah, I mean, he's probably done too. I don't see Hulk being used in any kind of meaningful way. I mean, maybe as a scientist if they need him, but they have. Well, I can't say that. That'd be a spoiler. So yeah, I'm just gonna close this real quick. It's been 9 minutes. Golly, I didn't even know that. So this is how I look at it. This is the 2010s I'm just talking about right now. My favorite movie of 2010s was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right? That was, I think, August 2010. That opened the decade, and it was a cult classic. A lot of people haven't watched it, but it's a cult classic, and it's also a comic book adaptation. It's my favorite hero comic book adaptation movie of the decade, even better than Infinity War. Personal favorite. I would say this, like, not shits on that movie, but it's significantly better, and it's obviously there has been significantly better movies in terms of what makes a movie good than Scott Pilgrim, but it's so much better that I could, like, just disillude my biases for that movie and say it's substantially better than Scott Pilgrim. I know they're gonna keep on going and add new characters. You know, your Adam Warlocks, the Eternals, those type of guys. But this is the type of movie where like it's a generational flick. Like even for the superhero industry, which has obviously been rising for however long, um, it's gonna take them at least another decade to replace the value of this movie and the value of the cast of this movie. Uh, it was amazing in every way. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I can't think of any notable flaws. And if you can, please tell me. I'd love to hear them because I just can't think of any. I know like film pundits will have things they nitpick, but like I can't think of anything important. Um, Go support this movie. You're not gonna get like there's not gonna be an HD Blu-ray rip of this movie until like this is April, so until like July, you won't have a real worthwhile version to watch this till July. Um, Captain Marvel is still in theaters, and usually they wait like 2 to 3 months before dropping Blu-ray, right? So that probably won't come out till June. This is gonna be in theaters probably for like the next 2 months. Honestly, I could honestly see it being in theaters for 2 months because they're gonna gun for the top grossing movie of all time. So you need to watch this in full resolution. It doesn't have to be 3D, but in movie theater resolution, you have to watch this. If you watch it with a webcam, kill yourself. It's a great movie. Please go watch it. I'll see y'all. Peace.